Hello, I'm Andrew Gilfillan, and I'm the head of mathematical literacy at St. Anne's, as I have been for the past 13 years. I also head up the AP Mathematics program at St. Anne's, and so, as you can imagine, I quite like my mathematics. I'm hoping to provide you with some information today and some perspectives that will help you make a choice between Math Core or Math Lit. Mathematical literacy is a subject that empowers students to use elementary mathematics in real-life contexts. It has been examined at matric level for the past 14 years and has been part of our educational landscape for 60. Things that we look at, or ideas or some questions that we might look at during the course of the program would be, how much would it cost to paint the walls of this room? How long will it take us to complete this journey? Can this data be trusted? Is this water bill correctly calculated? These are some of the ideas that we might look at and use basic mathematics to get an understanding of. When making the decision, there are three perspectives that you need to consider. The first is an interest-based perspective. The second is a career-based perspective. And lastly, a marks-based perspective. All three are important. Throughout this process, though, it is important to see your daughter for who she is. It's important to have a very realistic picture of your daughter and how this choice will affect her and her future. Let's look at interests first. Maths Core is abstract, technical, lays the foundation for advanced concepts and ideas. So this is me. I like this kind of thing. Math literacy is basic maths applied to realistic concepts, and the focus is practical, not abstract. Careers. Oops, seems to have jumped ahead. My apologies. Maths Core would be medicine, accounting, science, BCom, but only with a good mark. Math Lit, many other non-technical degrees. The good mark comment is like BCom, for example, you need 60% to get in. Now, it also depends on university. Now, this is a publication from UCT, and you can see that they've got it in little streams there, maths, physical science on the left, maths only on the middle, or maths required in the middle, and maths or mathematical literacy on the right-hand side. And you can see some options available there. In addition, this is from Stellenbosch. Same thing, just it looks at things a bit differently. And you've got some different options available too. So you really do need to do your research. But what about no university? Silwood Kitchens, Jackie Cameron School of Food and Wine, Event Management, Fashion Design, Management, Branding, Vega, and many, many, many more. But people like to focus on the numbers. So here the numbers are. What should the dividing line be? A good dividing line is 50% in Math Core at matric level, and that allows access to most courses. Obviously not the highly technical courses and not the BComs. But what will her matric mark be based on her grade 9 mark? Well, I've done an analysis of 535 St. Anne's matrics from 2014 to 2020, so over the 7 years. We've written the CAPS NSC examinations, and the following is what happened, is the outcome. At the end of grade 9, 11% of them had less than 50% for maths, 13% of the grade 9s, 13% of those girls have a mark in the 50 to 59 range, 23% had a mark in the 60 to 69 range, and 55% of St. Anne's grade 9s get 70% and above. This is historic, and these are accurate. Now, please, you'll notice that they don't add up to 100%. And that's got to do with rounding, and that's something we also look at in mathematical literacy. All right, so what will her matric mark be? Well, let's have a look-see. Those who got less than 50% in grade 9, 55 of them went to Lit, and 2 decided to continue with Core. Their matric results, the Lit girls got 56 to 95. Now, there was only actually one girl who got 56, and the others were 60% and more. Those 2 Core Maths girls, they both got 50%, so well done. You might be worried about the thinness of the rectangles. These are proportions. So if we look at the 50 to 59% now, there were 70 girls that got that. 45 of those 70 went the lit route, 25 went the core route, the lit girls, 75 minimum. The lowest mark of a girl who's got 50 in grade 9 at matric level over the last 7 years is 75%. Core girls, well, they were nicely split in 3 categories. A third of them basically dropped 1 symbol, a third of them maintained their symbol, and a third of them got 60 to 85. So well worth considering. Of course, those 50 to 59 percenters, they had to do a lot of extra time, a lot of time investment went into that 50%. So it means that they took time away from their other subjects. But it's important also to look at the 60s to get a fuller perspective of what's going on here. As might be expected, only 30 of those ended up in mathematical literacy, with the other 86 obviously doing core maths. The lit girls, or the girls that chose lit, who got 60% or had 60% plus in grade 9, got a minimum of an A. Well, I say a minimum, of course, 80s and 90s are all A's, so everyone got an A. Congratulations. But the core girls, 17 of them, actually dropped 2 symbols. 29 of them dropped 1, and 40 of them either maintained their 60 or went up. That's under half maintained or went up. It's important that if a girl is going to stay with core maths and is in the 60s now, that you work very hard to maintain that. Otherwise, as you can see, it can slip. Warning, mathematical literacy is not easy. Although it's more accessible for the average student, it has its own challenges and still uses mathematics to solve problems. To get 80% or even 70% gets more difficult to obtain the closer you get to grade 12. The grade 12 year itself is especially challenging and brings together all of your high school mathematics. It's important to choose wisely because the true impact will only be felt in 3 years' time. After changing to MathLit, there is no turning back. However, there are bridging courses that are available for some careers after school. In school itself, there is no turning back once you've made the choice. If you're in doubt and your daughter is in the 50 to 55% range or above, perhaps it's a good idea to stay in core and see how she goes. Maybe she just had a bad year, like 1 or 2 of those other girls, all right? But you need to be realistic as well about her options. A useful opportunity, a useful website is to go to this website here and look at some other options that you can do with mathematical literacy or some careers that you need math core for. Lastly, I'd like to share with you a letter that I received. Dear Andrew, around a year ago, you gave a talk to parents about the benefits of MathLit versus Math Core. I was one of the old school parents who was stuck in old thinking. As a result of your compelling argument, we allowed our daughter to take lit. My gosh, what a great decision. She is loving her math and it has done wonders for her self-esteem. I can tell you that that girl there ended up in the high 80s for MathLit. It enabled her to have extra time to spend on her art, which is her primary passion, as well as her other subjects, and she did very, very well overall. This story has been told many, many times. And if I were in school, I absolutely would have done core maths. I love it. It's how I'm built. But that's not for everybody. If you have any further questions, my email is on the screen. I invite you to drop me an email if you're unsure about certain factors or if you want to check something up with me. You're more than welcome to do so. And I welcome your correspondence. I thank you for listening to me today, and I wish you well in this very important decision.